Good morning. Happy Friday. So today I wanted to get on here and talk to all of you guys about something other than insurance. And it has to do with our president Donald Trump. And for the last 30 days, I've been watching from his executive orders, just the execution of everything that he was voted to do. And I've also watched just the amount of hate from many people that I know. And a lot of this hate is just targeted on Donald Trump. And you know what? I'm not a perfect person. I've made a lot of mistakes. But when I look at the last 30 days, the man's doing a great job. And for me, one of the things that really has me excited was the fact that, he declared that the Mexican cartels are terrorist organizations. For me, many years ago, I would have that thought that it would be cool if the U.S. helped Mexico with this problem, because it is a problem. I know that when we came here in the late 70s, not just my parents, but many of my friends, family, they crossed illegally. I come from the state of Michoacan, Mexico, and they crossed illegally. So years ago, when President Trump was saying that Mexico sends the rapists, the murderers, well, let me tell you something. For all of us that crossed that border illegally, whether you were a baby or you were an adult, we committed a crime. Because who were the ones that fabricated fake passports that would cross you through the desert? It wasn't, the U.S. government helping you cross through the Rio Grande. It was the cartels, period. Not just now, but back in the 70s, back in the 80s. I have friends, labor contractors. Again, I'm in California, a lot of agriculture. And these close friends of mine have shared stories with me of people that have worked for them out in the fields, cultivating our crops. And he got to meet a lot of killers that were running away from Mexico because they had killed somebody. That is fact. And I seen a lot of people get upset when our president was saying that. It didn't upset me, let me tell you what, because I seen it. As a little boy, I seen it. I was 3 years old when my parents came here legally. And like I said, we would go back and forth like it was nothing. I remember one time right before, Ronald Reagan gave us all the opportunity to become U.S. citizens. I remember that we crossed through TJ, and my dad, he had a big old mustache. That was one of his signature style. And as a kid, he took it off, and fake IDs, fake passports. Just thinking about it gives me the chills. We would pass through. Who do you think did all that? It wasn't the U.S. government. It was the Mexican cartels. That's a fact. All the people that get hurt. I have personal friends, again, that have shared these stories with me, plus mine. So this whole cartel terrorist thing, it's just great news. And I'll finish it with this. as a little kid, I remember my parents, their whole idea was, hey, now we have a green card and in 5 years we'll be able to become US citizens because Ronald Reagan gave us that opportunity in the 80s. Ronald Reagan says, we know you're here. There was about 4 million illegal aliens in the mid 80s. And he said, if you guys have a certain education, and he set out some bullet points, no criminal backgrounds, we're going to give you guys an opportunity. But we have to fix the southern border. And all of us in the 80s, we said, yes, we understand. And we are going to obey the laws. And we are not going to influence our families back home to break the law to come here. And at least for me and my family, we have never facilitated any of our relatives in Mexico or encouraged them to cross the border illegally. Never done that. And I wouldn't encourage you to do that either. But in the 80s, Ronald Reagan gave us that, and God bless Ronald Reagan. But here's the thing. My parents would talk about, we're going to make a little money, we're going to stack up our cash, and we're going to head south of the border. We're going to open up a business down in Morelia, Michoacan. They had their plans. And they worked towards that plan in the 80s. They bought a house. They bought a little ranch. But then they discovered one thing. They discovered that their crime rate was high as hell, that people lived in fear. And if you had any type of success or you're flaunting success, you put a big old target on your back. And the idea of us living down there like we wanted slowly disappeared, faded away because of all the crime and the cartels. And I'll tell you what, in the last 2 weeks, since not only myself, my family, but all of my friends, my Mexican friends that have been watching our president, Mr. Trump, have been very happy too. And most of us have started to have the discussion of, hey, why don't we sell one of the houses here and we go and buy a house in Rosarito, Cabo San Lucas, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta. And why? Because safety. And I'm feeling very optimistic about what's happening. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be doing a video down in Puerto Vallarta in sandals and shorts. So again, I just wanted to get on here and share this message. I know that for some, you're going to hate it, but you know what? That's the beauty of America, is that I don't have to worry about no cartel controlling what I say or do. Peace.